From the Corner Office, the podcast that pulls back the curtain on everything talent acquisition, human resources, and recruiting. Presented by CornerOffice. Whether you're building teams, leading HR strategy, or hunting top-tier talent, you are in the right place. Please join today's hosts, Alan Ingram and Chatty G, who will share their insights, explore trends, and give you the tools you need to disrupt, transform, and supercharge your talent team. So let's get to work, pull up a chair in the Corner Office, and take a deep dive.
All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive.
Nice.
You know, we always love to take these super interesting topics that we find and really kind of break them down.
Yeah, absolutely.
So today we're going to be taking a look at this blog post called 91% Retention. That's not luck. That's strategy from CornerOffice.
Very catchy title.
It is a catchy title, and 91% retention. That's pretty remarkable.
That is impressive.
In any industry, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to be taking a look to see, is it really strategy, or is there something else that they're doing?
Right, or is there some secret sauce that we don't know about?
Some magic formula.
Exactly.
But, this whole idea of, talent acquisition and retention.
Yeah.
It's a big deal in today's job market.
Huge. Especially right now. It is so competitive out there for businesses to attract and retain top talent.
Yeah. And it's something that we talk about all the time with folks is that, one of the biggest challenges that they face is finding good people.
For sure. And it's not just about finding them, right? It's about keeping them, too.
Absolutely.
It's that whole retention piece that can really make or break a company.
Right. And I think that's what this article is really trying to get at.
Yeah, and that's what I find so interesting about what CornerOffice is doing. They're really challenging the traditional recruitment model that, a lot of companies still rely on. Which, let's be honest, often feels very generic, very transactional.
Yeah.
It's all about filling the position as quickly as possible and not always about finding the best fit.
Right. And I think we've all been there, right? Either on the hiring side or on the job-seeking side, where it just feels like you're checking boxes.
Totally, just going through the motions.
Yeah.
And that kind of approach, it might seem efficient in the short term,
sure,
but it often leads to higher turnover.
Yeah.
Lower morale, just a lot of headaches down the road.
And then you're starting the process all over again.
Exactly. You're back at square one.
And that's not cheap.
No, it's definitely not. It costs time, it costs money, it costs energy. All of that could be avoided if you got it right the first time.
So that's where they're talking about this idea of tailored recruitment solutions, right?
Exactly. And I think this is where things get really interesting because they're shifting the focus from just filling a role to really understanding a company's unique needs and finding candidates who are not just qualified, but who are the right fit for the company's culture, its values, its long-term goals.
Okay, so when I hear tailored recruitment, I'm thinking, okay, well, isn't all recruitment, in a way, trying to find that right fit?
Right. I think that's a common misconception.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between simply matching keywords on a resume to a job description and truly understanding the nuances of a company and what kind of person would thrive there.
So it's more than just skills on paper.
Way more. It's about personality, work style, values, all of those things that can't be captured on a resume.
Okay, I'm starting to see the distinction here.
It's like, think of it like buying a suit. You can go to a department store and buy one off the rack. Yeah. It might fit okay, but it's not going to be perfect.
Right.
But if you go to a tailor who takes your measurements, understands your style and the occasion you're dressing for, you're going to get a suit that fits you perfectly and makes you feel confident.
It could be a much better fit.
Exactly. That's what tailored recruitment is all about, finding that perfect fit for both the company and the candidate.
So you're saying that it's about finding someone who's not just going to fill the role.
Right.
But who's going to contribute to the company's success.
Exactly. Someone who's going to be invested in the company's mission, who's going to be a good cultural fit, and who's going to stay for the long haul.
So basically avoiding all of those costs that are associated with high turnover.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head.
Which they do mention.
Yeah, they talk about the hidden costs of turnover, the lost productivity, the time it takes to train someone new, the hit to team morale.
And it's a good point. You don't really think about that.
No, you don't until you're in that position.
Right.
And you're like, oh my gosh, this is a nightmare. We have to start all over again.
And so how does CornerOffice claim to be doing this? How are they tailoring these recruitment solutions?
Well, that's where these boutique recruitment firms come in.
Oh, yeah.
They have a different approach than those massive recruiting agencies.
Okay. I am intrigued. Tell me more.
So for starters, they work with a select group of companies so they can really invest the time to get to know each business inside and out.
So they're not just working with anybody and everybody. They're being very selective.
Exactly. They're being very intentional about who they partner with.
Okay.
And that allows them to build much deeper relationships with their clients, which is crucial for understanding their unique needs.
So it's more like a partnership than just a vendor-client relationship.
Absolutely. It's about collaboration and working together to achieve a common goal.
I like that.
And this leads to their second advantage, specialized expertise.
Okay.
Boutique firms often focus on specific industries or types of roles.
So they're not just a jack of all trades.
Exactly. They have a deep understanding of both the talent pool and the specific needs of the companies they serve.
So they're kind of like the experts in a particular field.
Exactly.
Okay, so they're finding those hidden gems that maybe other recruiters are missing.
Exactly. They're able to connect the dots and see the potential that others might overlook.
But, sometimes smaller firms or boutique firms have a reputation for being,
Unreliable.
yeah, or maybe not as maybe consistent
Yeah, that's a fair point.
as some of the bigger ones. So how do these firms measure up in that regard?
That's a valid concern, but I think for boutique firms, their reputation is everything.
Right, their reputation is their business.
Exactly. They're not just chasing numbers, they're building long-term relationships built on trust and results.
Which brings us back to this 91% retention rate that CornerOffice is boasting about.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more than double the national average.
I know, it's incredible, right?
It's crazy. So
Yeah.
are they pulling a rabbit out of a hat here, or is there something more to it?
Well, I think it all boils down to that idea of alignment that we talked about earlier. When you find candidates who are a good fit, not just for the job, but for the company's culture and values, they're more likely to stick around and actually thrive.
Okay.
And that's what CornerOffice is doing. They're finding those people who are the right fit on every level.
All right, well, stay tuned. We are going to dig deeper into this 91% retention rate in the next part of our deep dive, so don't go away.
And I think that's where that impressive retention number comes from. They're not just filling a vacancy.
Right.
They're finding someone who's truly invested in the company's success.
Okay, so you're telling me I can sign up for this somewhere.
I wish it were that easy.
Right, but okay, so they're saying that it works, but do they have any proof?
Oh, yeah, they do.
Okay.
They have some really compelling case studies in that blog post
Oh, perfect.
of companies that they've worked with. Like some big names you would know, like Chick-fil-A,
Okay.
the Home Depot Constellation Energy.
All right, so those are some big names. Chick-fil-A, obviously everybody knows Chick-fil-A. They're known for their culture
Yeah.
and their customer service.
Sure. Absolutely.
I'm curious to see what they have to say about that.
Yeah, well, Chick-fil-A is a great example of a company that really puts values alignment front and center.
Okay.
They're not just looking for people who can, take orders and work the register.
Right.
They're looking for people who really embody their core values of hospitality, service, and community.
So they're looking for people who are passionate about the company and its mission.
Exactly. They want people who are going to be a good fit for the long haul.
That makes sense.
And by using these tailored recruitment strategies,
Yeah.
they're able to consistently attract and keep those people,
Right.
which helps explain why they have such high employee satisfaction and such low turnover.
That's amazing. I mean, because you always hear about the great things about working at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
So that's cool to see that there's a reason behind that.
Yeah, it's not just luck.
Yeah. And obviously not every company is Chick-fil-A, right? So how would this apply to like a smaller business?
That's a great question. And I would actually argue that tailored recruitment is even more crucial for small businesses.
Oh, really? How so?
Well, when you have a smaller team,
Yeah.
every single hire has a much bigger impact on the company's culture and performance.
Right, because it's a smaller group of people, so everybody needs to be on the same page.
Exactly. It's like a basketball team.
Yeah.
Where every player on the court needs to be able to contribute in order to win the game.
Right.
And in a small business where resources are often stretched thin, you just can't afford to make bad hires.
Yeah, so you don't have the margin for error.
Exactly. So tailored recruitment helps you nail it the first time by making sure you're getting someone who's both skilled and a good cultural fit.
So it's about maximizing the impact of each hire
Exactly.
and making sure that everybody's kind of working towards the same goal.
Exactly.
So how does a company, big or small, actually put this into action?
Well, the beauty is that the core principles can be adapted to any company,
Okay.
regardless of size or industry. The key is to clearly define your company culture, your values, and your long-term goals.
Okay, so you got to know who you are as a company
Exactly. You have to know what you stand for and what you're trying to achieve.
and then use that information to guide your hiring decisions.
Exactly. You want to attract candidates who not only have the skills, but who also align with your culture and values.
So it's not just filling an empty desk. It's about finding someone who's going to be a good fit for the company
Exactly.
and who's going to help the company achieve its goals.
Exactly.
I'm starting to think that this Corner Office blog is like required reading for anyone who's involved in hiring.
I agree. It's a really insightful piece.
But before we wrap this part of our deep dive up,
Yeah?
there's one more thing that stood out to me.
Oh, okay. What's that?
They mentioned that this isn't just good for the company,
Right.
that tailored recruitment, it's good for the candidates too.
Absolutely. That's such an important point, and it often gets overlooked. CornerOffice emphasizes that when a candidate lands in a role that aligns with their personal values and career goals, they're much more likely to be engaged, motivated, and fulfilled in their work.
So it's a win-win for everybody.
Exactly. It's about finding that perfect match.
That's awesome.
For both the company and the candidate benefit.
Yeah. So how do they make sure that these candidates are ending up in the right roles?
Well, they have a very thorough vetting process
Okay.
that goes way beyond just matching keywords on resumes.
Okay.
They really take the time to get to know each candidate,
Okay.
their unique skills, their interests, their goals for their career, and then they use that information to connect them with companies that are truly a good fit.
So it's like personalized matchmaking for career.
Exactly.
All right.
And by taking this individualized approach, they're creating a much more positive and fulfilling experience for both the candidates and the companies involved.
So it's not just about filling empty positions.
Right.
It's about making these genuine connections
Right.
between talented people and the companies that need them.
Exactly.
That's a recruitment strategy that I can definitely get behind. Okay, so we've talked a lot about Corner Office and their approach to talent and this whole idea of tailored recruitment solutions. And of course, that really impressive 91% retention rate.
Yeah, definitely a lot to unpack there.
Yeah. So now I kind of want to bring it back to our listeners.
Yeah.
Like, what does this all mean for them?
Well, that's a great question, and I think there are some really valuable takeaways here, whether you're a business leader, an HR professional, or even just someone navigating the job market.
Okay, so let's start with the hiring side. What are some things that our listeners who are in charge of hiring can do to actually put this into practice?
Well, I think the first step is really a mental shift.
Okay.
It's about moving away from just trying to fill open positions
Okay.
and starting to think about building a team
Yeah.
that truly aligns with your company's long-term vision and values.
So it's about taking that step back and saying, okay, what are we really looking for here?
Exactly. It's about being proactive rather than reactive.
Okay, I like that.
So that means taking the time to clearly define your company culture, what makes it unique, the type of people who thrive in that environment.
So it's kind of like creating a blueprint for your dream team.
Exactly. And once you have that blueprint, then you can start to tailor your recruitment process accordingly.
Okay, so that might mean revising your job descriptions,
Absolutely.
focusing on attracting candidates who not only possess the necessary skills,
Right.
but who also align with your culture and values.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to think outside the box when it comes to finding those candidates.
Okay, so maybe not just relying on those traditional job boards and things like that.
Exactly. There are so many other ways to connect with talented people.
Okay, cool.
And once you have those candidates in the pipeline, really focus on those behavioral interview questions to assess their values and work style.
Well, that's its point.
Yeah, and get multiple team members involved in the interview process to get a more well-rounded perspective.
So it's really about taking a more holistic approach
Exactly.
to the entire hiring process.
Exactly.
Okay, so now let's flip the script and talk to the job seekers out there.
Okay.
So what can they do to leverage these principles to their advantage?
I think it really boils down to self-awareness.
Okay.
Take some time to really understand your own values, your preferred work style, the kind of environment where you thrive.
So know yourself, basically.
Exactly. Know what you want and what you don't want in a job.
What are your non-negotiables?
Exactly. And once you have a clear understanding of your own needs and aspirations, then you can start to target your job search more effectively.
Okay, so do your research.
Absolutely. Look for companies that align with your values and tailor your applications to highlight how your unique skills and experience match their specific needs.
So basically just being as strategic and intentional as the companies who are doing the hiring.
Exactly. It's a two-way street.
I love that.
It's about finding that perfect match.
This whole conversation has really just shown me how important it is to find that right fit.
It really is the foundation of everything.
Yeah, when there's that alignment between a company's values and an individual's aspirations,
Yeah.
it's like magic happens.
Exactly. You get engaged employees who are passionate about their work, and companies are able to attract and retain top talent.
So it's a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely.
And it all starts with understanding the power of tailored recruitment.
Couldn't agree more.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I just want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay.
How can you apply these principles to create a more fulfilling and successful work experience, whether you're leading a team or navigating your own career path?
That's a great question to ponder. And if you're looking for more information about tailored recruitment solutions, definitely check out CornerOffice. Their blog is full of insights, and they also offer a range of services to help both businesses and individuals achieve their recruitment goals.
Awesome. And remember, whether you're a seasoned executive or just starting out,
Yeah.
finding that right fit is essential
It really is.
for long-term success and fulfillment.
Couldn't agree more.
So put in the time and effort, and I promise you, you'll see the results.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of tailored recruitment.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll catch you next time.
Thanks for listening to From the Corner Office. If you found today's conversation valuable, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share with your network. This podcast is brought to you by CornerOffice. With decades of combined experience, our mission is to empower CHROs and talent acquisition leaders with the tools and expertise to assess, disrupt, and innovate their talent acquisition strategies, resulting in higher retention of top talent. Schedule a free consultation by visiting gocorneroffice.com. Let's supercharge your hiring success together.